Girls who took notes using 50 different colored pens. Where are you now? Do you still continue to write using all those colors? We hired a woman like this and immediately assigned her to organize our administrative compliance paperwork. What we got was a binder that looked like it fell off the Lisa Frank delivery truck, with like 6 different colors of organizing tabs and rainbows of label stickers and such. But damn, was that stuff well organized. A few years later, she left to go into educational therapy. So good for her, I guess. I now use OneNote in all those different colors. Here. Now. I only ever have one black pen in my pocket. No motivation to write anything anymore whatsoever. I wanna go back. I miss the colors. I'm 37 now. I've been a union carpenter for 10 years and I'm a foreman for my company. My notes are in every color of the rainbow still. I guard my collection very carefully. They're all clicky pens from the Paper Mate Ink Joy brand. I switched over to an iPad plus Apple Pencil in college so I could have all my notes in one place. I prefer it over handwritten notes so I don't have to carry them around. But if I ever need to make a cheat sheet for an exam, you bet I'm using my colored pens and mildliners. And her antithesis, the boy who always asked to borrow a pen or pencil and a sheet of paper. What concept, no matter how many times it's explained to you, do you still not understand? How computer chips work. How they store data. What exactly is happening when you pass electricity through a silicon computer chip that leads to, all this. I remember when I first learned that there were tiny circuits inside the chip as well. I looked it up and it blew my mind how someone could think to invent that. Why didn't Cinderella's shoe disappear at the midnight? Bitcoin. I sat there for an hour watching simple explanation videos and reading, but none of it made sense. And I felt so dumb, lol. Macroeconomics and where wealth comes from. Why there are taxis in a movie where everyone is a car. I know this is kind of an internet meme at this point, but the Flat Earth Society. I just can't comprehend how someone in this day and age can deny science that badly. What pseudoscience annoys you the most? Literally anything that claims to remove toxins from your body. Proofs to the flat earth theory. Scientology. It's tearing my wife's family apart. Edit. Looking over the top comments on this thread. It's amazing what a blend of them Scientology is. Lie detectors? That's 2 more components than an e-meter has. Psychics taking advantage of gullible people? That's a lot of the backstory of Scientology. Along with hypnotism. Essential oils and Herbalife? Scientology is huge into dietary supplements that don't really do anything. Purification, and is sometimes structured like a pyramid scheme. Homeopathy? Scientologists are taught to distrust the medical field and that they pull in diseases and illnesses, but can also will them away. Anything Gwyneth Paltrow says. The Mozart effect. A UC Irvine study claims that diving deep into the world of Mozart can actually make you smarter. The study took 36 participants and found that those who listened to Mozart before a task did much better than those who only heard silence. The study concluded that Mozart could actually increase your IQ by 8 or 9 points. However, the results of that study have been widely criticized by the academic and scientific community as a whole. Many claim the results were misleading and that researchers didn't examine what role the participants' diets, posture, or the time of day they took the tests played in the results. Lie detectors. Why does anyone anywhere still use them? Edit. The why was more of a rhetorical question. What would be the worst product to come in a flamin' hot variety? Eye drops. Baby formula. Tampons. Hemorrhoid ointment. Contact lenses. Nasal sprays. When did you know your significant other was the one? When we were arguing, but it didn't feel like we were fighting each other, but that we were just two frustrated people trying to better understand the other. Never experienced it before, and it honestly made me feel so much less angry in that moment. She was my friend. First I realized that I compared all women to her. She was my gold standard for what I wanted in a woman. Edit. Making the leap to a relationship was definitely a risk, but I knew I had to try. We'll be celebrating our 8th anniversary soon. The night we met, all I wanted to do was be next to her. She is everything I could ever ask for. My best friend, my soulmate, and the best thing that ever happened to me. 24 years together, and it pains me to say she passed away 15 months ago at only 41 years old. I can't stand to wake up in the morning knowing she won't be there. My life and heart is forever broken and will never be the same. Without a doubt, I am a better man and father to our 3 beautiful kids because of her. Stephanie, I will forever be totally and completely in love with you and only you. I'm gonna guess formatting is gonna be screwed up because I have no idea how to create enter lines. Apologies. Our first date, we laid it all on the table, talked about what we'd been through, what we were working through, and how we were doing that. A few weeks later, he did something that triggered me. It took everything in me not to revert to my old behaviors, but I did let him know it upset me. After he was done with his previous engagement, he shot me a message, picked me up at midnight, and we grabbed a coffee and drove around talking about it. He told me my PTSD from previous abuse in relationships did not mean I was not worthy of love or a healthy relationship, and that it didn't change how he felt about me. I pretty much knew then. A few weeks after that, my stepfather had an aneurysm and passed away. He got out of bed after working a 12-hour night shift, drove with me and my kids the 3 hours to my mother's, stayed with the kids while she and I were at the hospital, then drove the kids home a couple days later while I stayed with my mother to make funeral arrangements. The whole time I'm sobbing because I lost a man I considered my father, and he was so helpful, compassionate, and available. I told him I was going to marry him. He laughed and said, "Aren't you supposed to ask?" I told him it wasn't a question. We were engaged 6 months into our relationship, and it has been the most emotionally stable, rewarding, and best thing I ever did. 3rd time's a charm, I suppose. We had been dating a little over a year in high school. My mom's car got stuck on our country road during a snowstorm. My boyfriend put on his snow gear and started walking the half-mile from my house to where she was stuck, followed by our 3-legged bloodhound. My mom said she looked up and saw him walking in the distance carrying something. My dog had gotten tired hopping in the snow, so he carried her all the way to the car, then proceeded to try and dig my mom out. He got the mom stamp of approval, the dog stamp of approval, and my heart. At the end of our first date, she shook my hand at her door. As I walked to my car, I was telling myself, "Way to go, idiot. You fucked it up so bad." She shook your hand. We worked together and she came up and apologized to me the next day, saying she hadn't been on a date in a while and didn't really know how to end the date. That was when I knew. We actually came up with our own handshake that we even did at our wedding. It's been 16 years and not a day goes by that I don't remind myself how lucky I am to have met her. Subscribe, my brothers.